Yo, 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 yo. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Maestro, right here. And you're listening to the Sonic Sanctuary. Once again, we got another episode. We're in the building, and today I have with me the special guest, my first lady, Miss Dr. Sherell Vicks Crawford. Y'all make some noise for Dr. Crawford. Y'all make some noise. Where's my applause? First lady, I can't let you be here without the applause. There it is. There. Get my camera so they can see who they need to see. Lord have mercy, I'm moving slow today. I'm sorry, First Lady. First Lady, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, D. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better. I can't believe I got you on the podcast with me.
Of course.
We're about to have some fun. So, listen, normally what this show is about, Sonic Sanctuary, is the idea was around independent artists and what we go through and what we deal with, all our music and all that kind of stuff. But, I kind of wanted to branch out in some other subjects as well and talk to people. And I wanted to talk to you in particular about the many hats you wear. You're somewhat of an indie artist. You got your own practice. And it's got to be an art taking care of me. Y'all, for those that don't know, this is not only the First Lady at First Saint Paul, but this is my primary care physician. She is the one that takes care of me, makes sure that I'm good, looks out, tells me what I need to do, even when I'm hard-headed. She's been taking care of my family, actually, for quite some time. So I'm very grateful to you for it,
Honored. I've been in the greater Atlanta area, Metro Atlanta, and in the Lithonia area, of course, for now decades. So isn't it an honor to be able to take care of more than one generation of a family? I feel privileged and I feel honored. So thank you so very much.
Wow. Well, thank you. You're doing a great job with us. I'm gonna be a little more obedient in these
Promises.
Right. So what I wanted to talk to you today about, though, is you wear so many hats, like so many. Y'all heard me announce her as First Lady, but she's Dr. Sherell Vicks Crawford. She's also a very proud AKA. I don't want to say the chapter wrong. What chapter is it?
It's Chi Tau Omega chapter. We service Rockdale and Newton counties.
Right. Very busy. I'm surprised I got her here today. I had to get her to pencil me in, but I ain't mad because she working, always out helping schools, helping these people, helping those people, managing the office, and then being the First Lady of a black church.
Have mercy.
So I want to talk to you about, First Lady, tell us, how do you, with all of this stuff, how do you manage it? How do you juggle it? What does it take? Because people don't know.
Well, I think, D, the main thing that it takes is passion and commitment. If you stop and think about all of the things that you do, you probably wouldn't do them.
Right.
Because you say, oh, that's too much, or somebody else can do it. But, the book says that too much is given, much is required. So I don't really see it as a job. So I'm able to do AKA and I'm able to do the church all together because the church is service. And then our organization talks about service as well. So if we're serving the community, especially the young people in the community, because in the church, I love the YPD, and that's the Young People's Division for the A.M.E. Church. And because I have such a genuine love for young people, it's easy to transfer that love and passion and compassion over to the sorority side and do the same thing. So currently I serve as the program chairman in the chapter, and that's all about service. So that's the first vice president, and of course that keeps me busy, but this is the end. This is my 4th year, and I'll have all of this time, but I'll be doing what? Working with the church.
Right.
Because you just do it. In the office.
Okay. All right, we're back. Had just a little bit of a technical difficulty there, but you were saying that as soon as you finish your role with the chapter, then you'll be doing more work with the church. So would you say your gift is serving? Because even in the medical community, that's what you're doing. You got to see all kind of people with all kind of issues all the time. And I know they don't come in there just talking about their medicines. You probably psychiatrist, prayer warrior, So when did you realize that would be your area of your gift?
I think if we really want to go back at Morris Brown, I came in as a medical technology major.
Okay.
And another professor said, hey, if you're going to do medical technology, you might as well be the doctor yourself. Why would you take orders from someone else
Wow.
when you can do it yourself? And that was a powerful statement for me because, of course, if I had the gift to do the medical technology, why not do the medicine itself? So I changed my major from medical technology to biology. And so with biology, I became a pre-med student headed to medical school. I spent my summers after Morris Brown or during the time at Morris Brown at other types of schools, learning more information about biology, chemistry, and the things that were necessary to get into medical school. Heard a message from God, hey, apply from this one school, and this one school was Meharry Medical College. And somebody said, you got to apply to more than that. I said, no, God says I'm going to Meharry.
Wow.
So I put one application in, and I went to Meharry. And of course, I got a scholarship to go to Meharry that first year. But of course, once they get you there, then you got to find your own money.
Right.
So, but I was able to stay in. God was gracious and God was kind, and learn all that I could learn at Meharry. And Meharry's about serving people as well. So it seemed like a blended mission had been accomplished. And growing up in the church as well also let me know that this is where I want to serve. So went on a mission trip to Haiti when I was a sophomore, and all of the people in Haiti went to this one clinic, and they would stand outside and stand in the sun waiting to be seen by this one physician. And I knew then that I had to go back to America and do service. And I promised myself I would go back to Haiti as well. But I've been back to Haiti, but we've not been able to serve due to all of the things that are going on domestically in that particular country, as you well know.
Okay. Now, what would you say? You spoke about YPD, and for those that may have missed it, YPD is the Young People's Division in the A.M.E. Church, where you served faithfully for years and continue, even without an office, you've always served. But what do you say to our young people? As you know, I have a special relationship with so many of them. But what would you say to those that feel the loss of connection from the church anymore for various reasons?
It's so much going on. A different generation, you know that. And of course, with all of the different generations, different challenges occur. But I still would have to stay close. My go-to scripture is, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. And I have to say, based upon my own life, even when I was in medical school, you would have thought I would have stayed away from the church. But I think the church is what kept me in medical school, because on Sunday morning, I would go and hear somebody say, the Lord will make a way somehow, especially when it came to that next test the next week. So I would say, be encouraged. Don't give up. Seek out someone to talk to if you have concerns. That's how you stay connected. Everybody won't always agree with everything you think or what you believe, but that's not to nullify your voice.
Right.
We want you to know, we want to hear you.
Right.
And you have a voice, and we see you.
Right.
And I think that's all most of them want, to be seen and to be heard.
Right.
So I always say, carve out the space for the young people, because that's how the church moves on.
Right. And I was speaking, did an interview with Emery Berry as well, and we were talking about it. And I was saying, like, how for me, a lot of times, in people's effort to carve out a space for the young, they carve out the old. Or in an effort to keep the elders involved, they leave no room for the young. So that balance is so important. And I think it's important not only for the church to understand, but me, with the young people that I mentor and I talk to, having them understand they're making room for you, but it can't all be your way. Like, everybody has to understand.
It has to be a balance. As you know, we blend everything. You know, when you're making all of those delicious recipes and sauces to go with it, you put a little bit of this and you put a little bit of that, and then it comes out with a pleasant aroma and a pleasant taste. Well, it takes a little bit of this, it takes a little bit of that, and you have to blend it all together and pull it together. So we need them all. No church is great with just all elderly or in betweens or all young. We need the blend because our seniors offer us wisdom. Our in-betweens, they're living life and learning lessons. So, we can tell you about lessons learned. And then our young people are experiencing life. So together, that makes the church. That makes our world. So we need a little bit of everything.
Right, we do. I mean, and all the struggles and all of the things that make everybody who they are, because that's what puts the color in the church.
You got to have a little flavor, right?
You got to have flavor.
Got to have a little bit of, since we talking cooking pepper.
Come on.
Got to have a little hot sauce because everybody likes a little different things. So that adds to the fire and the flame. And that's what we're supposed to be about, keeping the hope of Jesus Christ, our Savior, alive. So let's fire it up with young and old.
Right. Now let me ask you this, First Lady. Now, so I'm gonna cut up. So when we talk about, and for those that don't know, First Lady can cook, all right? So she ain't up here just throwing out ingredients. She can cook. She can throw down.
D just likes my food. D likes my food.
Yeah, well, if she couldn't cook, I wouldn't. So she can cook. I'm telling y'all, she can cook. But let me ask you this. So I'm not a fan of rosemary. But I've had people's rosemary chicken. And when they first say, well, we having rosemary chicken, my first thought is, I don't like rosemary. But it was what they did with all the other stuff. So the rosemary is still there, enough to give it this title, but they had the other ingredients, so it became something that I could eat, not only eat, but enjoy. I want to ask you, if you can answer this, what do you do as First Lady when there are ingredients in the church that you don't like?
As you know, D, I'm pretty no nonsense. So
absolutely,
I've made it clear very early on. If you don't want to hear the truth, don't talk to me. So you know how that works. For me, I'm gonna give it to you straight because that's just who I am, and that's kind of how I was trained. But sometimes, D, I have learned. You saw it too. That I have grown up. I just walk away. Okay.
You just walk. Look, sometimes we have to, don't we?
Right, we have to.
That goes back to the old thing of picking your battles. You got to
some things are not worth it. And I tell my other young people, silence speaks too.
It does. It does.
Silence is a response.
Very loud.
Yes. Okay.
It's a very loud response. So now, First Lady, as and I'm gonna go through all the hats. So as First Lady, though, have you y'all, I'm gonna get in trouble. She gonna get me. First Lady, you ever had to back anybody off that always want to have the prayer with the pastor after hours? Yeah, you ever have to tell people he's the pastor from Sunday, from 10 to 2?
Oh, do you have to? But because I don't think parishioners always understand that preaching and pastoring takes energy. And it's an energy that some folks just don't get. It's not a performance. It is sincerity that the Holy Spirit does become a part of your being. And if you've ever experienced that, then you would know that after preaching, after praying, after a worship service, these folks are exhausted. Period. So it's not, in my situation, it is not the time for your prescriptions. Okay? So, of course, that doesn't always go over well, but it's a reality. The people are human. Give them an opportunity to regroup. I think that's just basic, but everybody doesn't feel that way because everybody, again, wants to be seen and wants to be heard.
Well, and then a lot of them, it's their agenda and their agenda only. And y'all know I keep it a buck always. The church, it's the hospital for a lot of sick people. There's a reason that they say that, and so to me, it's honestly, and I can say it. So First Lady, don't nobody be judging her. I think it's sick to try to approach a pastor, any pastor, with your issues and your problems, and he hasn't had a chance to decompress from ministering, from trying to win souls to Christ, from trying to keep people from committing suicide, from for helping people understand you can make it one more day, you can make it another hour, you can make it another week. All the while, as when we speak, everybody knows, but for those that don't know, First Lady, her husband is the pastor of First Saint Paul, but he's also a medical doctor. And I have seen times where he's preparing for service, but he's got to answer a call from a patient at the hospital. So all of this stuff is going on. And then we want to bombard them at the end of service, like give him or her, whomever your pastor may be, give them a moment. Like
just a moment.
Don't be so selfish. Now, First Lady, a little bird told me that that you got hands, and y'all First Lady down, she know what that means. They told me you got hands. So now I have never seen her use them, and I hope not.
Okay, D.
I've never seen beat up nobody, y'all.
No, I have not. No, I have not.
But she might. But no, so you have to get in that protective mode sometimes, because I know a lot of pastors, they're there to serve the congregation, but a lot of congregations are killing pastors.
Well, I just think that people have to understand, just like you have personal boundaries, you have to allow the pastor, the first lady, the first family, ministers of music, all of those folks that give 100% once they sit down to play and once they sit down to minister, you got to give them space. So even when you come home from work, what do? You sit down, you decompress, you relax. The same thing with the church. You need a moment, okay?
Right.
And that's what I think people have to understand. Just give everybody a moment.
Right. Now, when did you, and I'll move from the church stuff, when you realized that you were about to be a first lady, because we hear this from a lot of first ladies, was there ever a thought of, oh Lord, I didn't sign up for this? Like what?
Well, I didn't originally, because my husband was not a pastor at the time. And I knew that he was a preacher, but I thought that he would preach and then we would just visit from place to place to place.
Like a revivalist?
Yes,
okay.
And keep going. But I never thought we would just be a pastor at a church and have a church family. And our church family now is 23 years old.
Right.
So that means we all grew up together, basically. Right. And we really are family, whether you like it or not, okay? Right. Yes.
Look, family fights sometimes, but they family. That's
we family.
People see the Green Clan. I can speak on my family, and they feel like we untouchable, and we are when you mess with us. But we probably ain't spoken in 2 weeks because of what. Probably because of what I said most of the time, First Lady. I don't know what it is,
but you know how families are. So you talking about, because we're from the country. So in the country, look, it doesn't matter if that's my family. I'm stepping up to the plate. Okay.
Right. I saw a thing, an excerpt where I think it was Pastor Mike Todd though, but he was speaking, and he said when he took on the role as a pastor of the church, one of the first things he said when he got up in the pulpit, he introduced his wife, right, and he said, but she's not here to be the head of your women's ministry. She's not here to be the head of this. Her job that God has given her is to be my wife and to take care of me. And I thought about it, we don't think about it. A lot of times first ladies get thrust into all of the dealings of the church, but that may not have been what their assignment necessarily was.
Well, I think, the good thing about the A.M.E. Church, and some other churches as well, we have a support group, so minister spouses, and you can learn a lot from these other spouses that are a little bit older than you, that have been in the ministry a little bit longer. And, they gave me a word of advice very early on because, I'm vocal, and if you don't know, you don't want to make sure that you confuse the congregation.
Okay.
So therefore, they said, if you cannot keep your mouth closed at the church meetings, don't go.
No.
So if you notice, I don't go to the church meetings.
I am a witness First lady, don't come to no.
Because you have to know your limitations, okay?
Lord have mercy.
Okay. So in our training, you had to think black and white. It's very little gray in medicine because, it's either black or it's white. It's either this or that. If it's gray, that means you don't know the answer. So we want to make sure we know the answer. So in our training of thinking black and white, you bring that kind of no-nonsense mentality with you.
Right.
And so you don't really have room for nonsense. And that, for me, that translates over into the church, too.
It does. It does. Y'all listen. So, First Lady, what we're going to do right here, when we having an incredible time is flying. So we're going to pause for the calls for a minute. We're going to play a little bit of music. Then we're going to come back. Y'all, we're going to talk some more to the First Lady. Again, this is Dr. Sherell Vicks Crawford, our First Lady, Sherell Crawford, Dr. Vicks, right?
You got it.
Okay, I'm doing it right. All right.
All the same person.
Same person,
yes.
But it's important that people understand that the roles are different.
Yes.
I remember speaking at First Saint Paul one time, and I explained to people because people will be up in arms when they want to ask you, I'm your patient, and I know not to bother you on Sunday. And, you don't want nobody to bother. And I said to them, well, all y'all teachers, y'all want to keep kids on the weekend? And nobody does.
Nobody does. Thank you, D.
Yeah, so she's the same person, but boundaries. And we got to understand the roles. So y'all give us a minute. Listen, what we're going to do is we're going to check out First Saint Paul right here.
Okay.
First Saint Paul A.M.E. Church. Only what you do for Christ will last. We'll be right back with y'all in about just a minute or so. Let's go, First Saint Paul.
Came with a simple message, and that message is no matter what it is you do, only what you do for Christ will last. First Saint Paul, that's why. Here we go, y'all.
That was First Saint Paul A.M.E. Mass Choir, y'all, from the project that we did a few years back. It Does Not Yet Appear. That was the project that we did. So we're back on the Sonic Sanctuary with First Lady Dr. Sherell Vicks Crawford. She's hanging out with us. We having a good time, as I knew we would. Now, First Lady, let's talk about your other passion. We dealt a lot with the church, and God knows we could go on about the church forever, but, who wants to on a Saturday? Because it won't be long before it go bad, and we don't want it to go bad. We don't want it to go bad. So let's talk about your AKAs. Let's talk about the work you do. What made you know that this was the organization you wanted to be with? You know, I've seen her in the line to set it off. Shocked me. She got moves, y'all. First lady got moves. Don't let her fool you. She got moves. So what was it about this organization that drew you? And you're extremely active in it, so you gotta love it. So tell us about that.
Oh, Dee. This year, believe it or not, I know I don't want to tell my whole age, but I guess you're getting a clue based upon the children's age already. But I will celebrate 45 years as a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I joined when I was a student at Morris Brown College, a sophomore at Morris Brown College.
Morris Brown?
Yes, Gamma chapter. And so that was back in 1978. But I already knew about the organization from my childhood, from members that were in my church that served with AKA. And so we saw that pink and green. And then when we got on campus, we saw people doing service and making a difference. So I joined early on, and I tell folks all the time, what I do in the church and what I do in the sorority kind of to me equals, because I served. We were a family of service. Most folks don't know that my mother's mother made butter.
Oh, wow.
And sold butter so that folks could go to Morris Brown College, donated the money that she raised to be able to give students an opportunity at Morris Brown College, because it was the church school. And it was the school that the A.M.E. church supported. And then I grew up and I was able to go to Morris Brown College on a scholarship and never had to pay a penny. So, that's all of that full circle moment that service does matter and service does make a difference.
Right.
So with AKA, I saw folks serving. While I was there at Morris Brown, we weren't afraid to go to Perry Homes, a different time, different era. We weren't afraid, and we weren't afraid to bring them to the dormitories. And one of the things that I still remember that we did that I know made the children just light up, we brought all of the kids from Perry Homes to the towers. And we had asked everybody in the towers to have stuff for Halloween so that they could just have a safe Halloween in the dormitory. And they obliged. And then we had a party downstairs for the young people. They would never forget that. So why I like AKA? Impact. Long-term impact, lifelong learning, lifelong service. It makes a difference.
Okay. Now, I know, and AKA is you, and you're 100% all day. But I've seen it. We have a lot of fun with it sometimes, because anytime you're in a church, of course, you're going to have different people. And they belong to all the different organizations. I think the overall goal of all the organizations is the same. But y'all have a lot of fun with the battles. So for people that may not realize, are they just the fun that you have because everybody chose different organizations, or... Because I know everybody still believes theirs is the best, of course, but
Of course.
Make no mistake
the
about
battles are for fun.
Right.
We don't have to get excited because we were first. So, you can say anything you want to, okay? So, we're good. Look, we're all good. But when you're first, you don't have to talk too much.
Oh, wow. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear that?
But it's all in fun. We grow up. On campuses, they may be a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
But after you leave the campus life and reality checks in that you're going to need each other, you just try to do what you got to do to service your community, okay?
Right. Now, it's crazy because when I travel, two of my singers, well, one of them is not with me anymore, but one is an AKA, the other one is a Delta. And so, they will have these fun moments on stage, battling, throwing up their signs and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. But I remember we were getting ready for a show one time, and we were down at Port of Sanford, and the girl Tiffany, she's a Delta. She was a Delta, and they were doing the lights or whatever. And they put the pink light on her. And I mean, she just had, get that pink light off of me. I said, is it really that serious?
No, no.
But my other singer, Kitty Camille, said just what you said. She said, well, when you're first, you don't have those arguments.
Yes, we don't have any arguments.
I was like, oh, Lord.
And then if it gets too intense, we just say, read your history, okay?
Oh.
And then we're okay.
And just like that.
It's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
So no, it's not for real. We just playing.
Yeah, but you love it.
We love it. We
yeah.
love it. I mean, we're committed to it. And of course, like I said, 45 years, you got to love something about it.
Right.
So we try to keep it refreshed. We try to keep it going. And we want to make sure it's a perpetual organization.
Right.
Can you imagine that in 1908, they started this group and they didn't have anywhere near the funds that we have now to make a difference in the community? So why wouldn't you help something like that keep going?
Right. Do you think, as we kind of mix the worlds, and everybody knows I'm known to mix the worlds, is there something that, as we deal with even church a little bit more, can church learn something? Because of course church is going to keep going too, but just like you said, y'all keep it, you not reinventing because you don't have to.
You don't have to.
But is there something that can even be that the church can learn from these organizations, or that the organizations can learn from the church?
I think the organizations actually learned from the church.
Okay.
Okay, if you really look at how so many of our organizations are arranged, I think they learned it from the church.
Okay.
I tell folks all the time, I think these AKAs were AMEs first, So I think a lot of what we do, a lot of how we're arranged, a lot of the setup and the composition of a lot of our organizations really come out of the church. Now, what keeps them going differently is, I guess, the desire to make a difference and that eagerness to wear your letters and to represent. And we just got to kindle and, do our best to just kind of get those flames back started in the church that you would want to represent Christ.
Right. And the reason I asked it in particular is because I don't think I've seen, and I didn't get a chance to pledge, and I don't mind saying it. I didn't get a chance to finish. Something happened with my scholarship, so I didn't quite finish. I did some school, I never finished. Maybe I'll go back, maybe I will, but I don't know.
And you can.
And I can.
Anytime.
Right, you're right. But there's never a shortage of women wanting to be AKAs, right? So that's why I compared it to the church. What do you think the difference is? Because y'all don't have a shortage of people wanting to be a part of what you do, but the church sometimes finds itself with a shortage of people wanting to be engaged. So that's why I was wondering, maybe what can we? And the church is all of us. So,
and I think it's all about witnessing.
Okay.
People want to be AKAs because they see an AKA somewhere, or they've been around an AKA, or they've experienced life with an AKA. So wouldn't that behoove all of us to be better witnesses for Christ? That I would want to come to your church because I see that God is working in you and doing a mighty work, and I need to know what you're learning about and what you believe. So I think it's all about witnessing, because that's what else would be it. They don't know anything about the organization.
Right.
They only see people that are members of the organization.
Right. Well, there it is.
There it is. Yeah.
So now, in the midst of all this, your mom also. Your mom to two wonderful, brilliant children. So again, juggling these hats. You're dealing with the church. You're taking care of the sick. You're in the AKA. But you got children at home that need mom. Where does it come from?
Well, G, if you remember, I took them every time I went. So they were on the front row of every church that I ever went into. Which is why my son says now, too much church, Mom, too much church. So he had too much church growing up because they were church children. So they went to all the YPD events, in town and out of town. And in order to make it work, I had to take them with me. I didn't want to leave them behind. I wanted them to know what I was doing and what we were doing. So, they came along too. So most of their lives, they were in the church. Now you pray that they will continue in the church. But if nothing else, that their foundation is rooted in the church, and they know the Bible and what we believe. And so, again, we were witnesses toward them as well, and pray that example will last.
Right. Now, with you being as dedicated to the church and not just, not minimize it, because there are people that are dedicated to churches, but they have no spirituality at all. It's another club they go to. But you are a believer. You walk it, you talk it. ML, your son, being the creative that he is, the musician that he is, and and he does more alternative and stuff like that. How was that? Because my mom, Lord have mercy, I couldn't even listen to classical music and do homework because it had to be gospel. Were you that tight at first? Or
no, I think being that we're a little bit more flexible because we grew up in a different time and our background is a little different from Miss Jerry. Miss Jerry didn't play that, that.
I mean.
But, we're a little bit more flexible. So we listen and we understand that God speaks different ways. And so you have to allow God to speak. And that all of us are here in different purposes and we have different goals to fulfill.
Right.
And so I've got to walk in my shoes and he's got to walk in his shoes. You got to walk in yours. And then together we pray that we make a difference in the kingdom of God. And that's all you can do.
Right.
You can't shut people down. You know, you just have to say, come on now.
Right. Because they're going to do it. They're going to do it anyway. And I knew one of the things I will say, and people have heard me say it a lot about my mom and the church music and all that. Don't get it wrong or twist it. I knew my mom loved me. She was teaching me what she knew, but I knew that I knew what was in me. So I had to take what she was trying to teach me and understand, well, this part doesn't necessarily apply, but there are things in it that are applicable to
There
me.
you go. There you go. I mean? The whole thing that, remember, Sister Barbara Lester used to say, the fish comes with many bones, but eat the meat and spit out the bones. So you can do that too, okay?
There it is. I'm having a good time. See, y'all get to learn. Some people don't know first ladies are human, especially mine. This one right here, listen, I go to bat for her because I know that she's human. I know that she's loving, she's kind. I know she laughs. She has a good time.
Laughter is good medicine. You know that.
It is.
It's the best medicine.
And sometimes she have to back y'all up off of her, and I know that too. So get off of her. But not just in the church, in the doctor's office and all of that. So, First Lady, you've seen me for years. You've seen me in my ups and downs. And praise be to God, I haven't had many downs in health or whatnot. But you've known the struggle of an indie artist, not always having health care and insurance. And you never made me feel any kind of way about coming to see you. And you kept the business, but, things that you could, probably work on to help people, you would, but you had to keep your, you can't close your practice trying to help the world. People need to understand that. But what would you say even to other artists, like the importance? Because I'm working now on getting back with Aetna now that I left AT&T. It felt good to walk in and just present my card. And
I know.
When I left, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about that first lady. I didn't think about it.
Well, insurance is important.
It is.
And that's America, unfortunately.
Right.
But being that I know that God is a provider, and the fact that I've kept a practice open for also 23 years, that's only God, because I had no experience at doing it. Just said, hey, if I'm going to leave Kaiser and DeKalb Medical Center and start my own practice, he'll make a way. Well, early on, he said, hey, you go to work, you work hard. If you go to work and you work hard, I will provide. So it's never been important to me that everybody paid 100% of everything that they were charged, because I knew I would get it some other way. So it's just staying faithful, staying peaceful and prayerful on the journey, and knowing that, you're making a difference in somebody's life. Okay?
Well, you definitely made a difference in mine. I certainly appreciate you for everything that you've done and are doing. And, when I'm in the office, y'all, she speaks truth. We laugh just like we do it now, but she'll say, D, that blood pressure. No, I ain't gonna let you walk out of here thinking you all right. You're not. So if you want to get it down, you're gonna have to cut back. You're gonna have to do. And I'm like, yeah, First Lady, because I've never been. I take the medicines that are prescribed for me, but I've never been. I don't want to live my life on medications when there are things that I can do to.
Yes. If you do
it.
Those things, you won't have to take any medications.
You won't have to take it.
Okay.
So that's that. So we've kind of covered the AKA, the mom. Do you think, this is my last question, out of all the hats you wear, could you have ever had just one to wear and do?
I don't think so, D, because, I mean, what would I have done with all of this other extra time?
Come on, First Lady. Come on, First Lady. Come on,
What would
First
I have
Lady.
done? I would have been either working myself so hard being the doctor until I couldn't enjoy life. I think the balance of everything helps me enjoy and appreciate life and gives me a new fulfillment. And again, I told you that too much is given, much is required. And so I've been given much, so I got to give it back. Okay.
Right.
And so my greatest, I guess, accomplishment or my greatest desire is that if I have done anything good at any point, that you too will do something good for someone else.
Wow.
It doesn't have to come to me. Do something good for someone else.
Wow.
I'm not looking for my names in light. Do something good for someone else.
Yeah, and I can honestly be a witness to that. She's never asked for a whole lot of things, even at church. She ain't got to have no big celebrations and all this stuff. Even though I think, it's kind of like, even with the military and the veterans, people speak a lot about the veterans, but they don't speak about the veterans' wives. And, the pastors get all these days and all this stuff, but people don't think about the pastor's wife and how hard it is and can be. And again, I'll say it so she don't get in trouble. Just because it's church don't mean it's all good. You know what I mean? I know that there are some Sundays First Lady have to pray hard to keep from busting somebody's head. But, she
Well, not so much about that, Dee. It's just that we're human too. So,
Right.
just like your life goes up and down, our lives go up and down as
You have
well.
days.
So you have days when the loads feel a little heavier than usual, and you still press on. So that's good news, though,
Yeah.
that God allows you to press on.
Okay. All right. Y'all hear it. Y'all
We're going to
heard
stay
it.
positive, Dee.
Yeah, we got. Y'all see she won. Y'all see how she's snatching the steering wheel. She's snatching the steering wheel back. D, I'm not going in that lane. Come back. I got you, First Lady. Look, we good. We through talking about the church and all that stuff. So I got one other thing that I want to do. I did want to share with you. Sam was telling me too, and because I speak to her a lot. Y'all, our First Lady, is intentional about nobody asking her anything, reaching out, checking on people, sometimes showing appreciation. I know there have been times, even when we were in the pandemic, and those that were on our praise team just showing up week in, week out, weekend, she would on her own just take and show some appreciation. None of y'all business what it was, but she would show appreciation. Anytime I've been down, I knew if I didn't hear from anybody, I would hear, from First Lady. And I remember Sam telling me that you something was going on with her, but you sent her a card that she still has to this day. But on the card was the inspiration. You said, "Grow and blossom." And she was saying out of that, her company, Things to Do, was born. So, you are, if people don't tell you enough, I want you to know you are making a difference.
Thank you.
That we love you. I know I certainly do. And,
I know you biased.
yeah, I am, And if they want to turn me from worship leader to thug, mess with my First Lady. And it's going down. That's what's going to happen. So I got one other thing I want to do, First Lady, real quick. So this is called rapid fire, right?
Okay.
So it's when I ask you questions really quickly, and you just give me the answer, the first thing that comes to mind, all right?
All right, Dee,
So
now. Come on, let's see.
It's going to be good, all right, y'all? This is our corny rapid fire music. Hey. We getting ready. Let me see what I'm going to ask. Get it in my head. All right, let's see. Here we go. All right, you ready, First Lady?
I'm ready.
We talked about the cooking. What is your favorite dish to prepare?
Roast beef.
With the potatoes and carrots.
With the potatoes and carrots and the green peppers too.
Ooh, this supposed to be rapid fire, ain't it? All right. What is your favorite activity?
Oh, probably sleep.
That's a good activity. All right. First Lady, what's the well, I can't ask you that. That would be a little biased. Okay, outside of pastor, who's your favorite minister you like to hear speak?
Ooh, Lord have mercy. know who I like to hear sing, which is Donnie McClurkin.
Okay.
And who would I like to hear speak? Oh gosh, I hadn't heard anybody else say pastor in a long time. So
Got you.
I don't know. You got me on that one, D.
Okay, but your favorite artist would be Donnie McClurkin?
Donnie McClurkin.
Okay.
Of course, I ride with his music playing in the car all the time.
Okay, and your favorite favorite gospel song?
Favorite gospel song now, of course, is CeCe Winans and the God's Goodness.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, okay. And do you have a favorite R&B song?
R&B song? Well, today, since you sent me that stuff from yesterday with the video, at the meeting I played Mary J. Blige Just Fine.
Oh. Look at that, Mary J. That's a good song.
I know.
That's a good party song.
Because we doing just fine,
We're
right?
doing just fine.
Just fine.
That's fine. All right. I wish I had some other questions from people. I know they got a lot they want to ask you. We might have to bring you back, First Lady.
Do that.
And you had a good time hanging out?
I had a good time hanging out. And, I wanted to do my own podcast, too, D. So that's why I'm here. We can do something soon.
Okay, so we need to work on it, get it together. I think the people want to hear from you. I do appreciate you coming. I appreciate you sharing so much. And again, I just appreciate you for who you are to me in my life over the years. I know we may not have always agreed on every little thing, but what we have agreed on is that we are workers together.
Yes.
For the kingdom. That's what we're doing. That's the goal. And so we always find ways to come together and make that happen.
We do. And so, of course, before we conclude, because D knows this, he's anointed himself. So, of course, his gifts always, as we say, will make room for you. So thank you for all that you do for the kingdom as well. Freely, not always getting paid, not always feeling appreciated as well, but we serve because we know it's the right thing to do, and it's the gifts that God's given us, and we're going to do it.
Wow. Well, y'all, that is it for me today on the Sonic Sanctuary. Once again, we're so grateful to have Dr. Sherell Vicks Crawford, First Lady Sherell Vicks Crawford, hanging out with little old me, little old D Maestro today.
Anytime, D, anytime.
All right, y'all, that's it on Sonic Sanctuary. Let's go. We out of here. Hey, what's up? It's your boy D Maestro. Listen, thank y'all again for checking out another episode of the Sonic Sanctuary. Hey, if you were digging what you saw, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Again, I need you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And listen, we got merch here at Sonic Sanctuary, so if you're liking it, you can get this hoodie. Hey, we got coffee mugs, we got bags, so many other things, and also the new D Maestro merch. So if you're digging the merch and you want to grab some of that, click the link below, right there. Click that link below, DMaestro512.com/merch, and I'll see y'all on the next episode.